Ah, Alex D. Nice work in the Inclinator there. The WTO appreciates your work to keep the commerce routes open. And Chief Morgan has had a lot to say about you.
I haven't had the chance to talk to her yet.
Then be sure you talk to Chief Morgan as soon as you can. She's in Europe right now, but she'll address you from the holocom in her office. Go up the stairs, hang a right, and look for the management wing on your left. The WTO could really use an agent like you, and we could offer you a kind of mobility no one else can.
What do you mean?
As you know, after the collapse, it was the WTO that started putting the pieces together, creating safe, clean, profitable enclaves, and opening up and regulating trade between them. With this web of structures in place globally, we can offer an agent many opportunities in many locations.
The WTO does some admirable work, but couldn't it lead to the same kind of over-centralization that made the world so vulnerable to the collapse in the first place?
Far from it. We're encouraging relations between the enclaves, not complete mergers. We want to keep competition dynamic and individuality vibrant.
They're all good intentions.
You could be a part of it. Your fellow student from Tarsus, Clara Sparks, has already accepted a position here. Think about it. We're trying to create a new peace where everyone has access to goods that they need and has a mutual interest in keeping commerce flowing.
At least one trainee besides me reported to the authorities. Have you seen Leo?
Yeah, he's laying low like Dr. Nassif requested. Billy seems to be mixed up with the Order Church.
They can do what they want, I guess. I can't believe that Tarsus is a front after all those years of training.
What's going on back there?
A suspicious helicopter was circling the city. Fortunately, both the pilot and the aircraft are now in WTO custody.
Order reconnaissance?
The pilot will be interrogated. I shouldn't tell you more than that.
So you're on the WTO payroll now, huh?
I'm just glad I didn't have a reaction to whatever the Tarsus people were shooting into our veins, and now I've got a security assignment. That's all I ever wanted from that place.
Something didn't add up quite right on last night's shipment.
Chief Morgan, you wanted to see me?
I want to hear what you know about the terrorist attack that led to your escape from Tarsus Academy.
The Order wanted to stop the experiment. That's about all I know.
We were watching that facility ourselves. Ever heard of an organization codenamed Apostle Corps?
Sounds like a cult.
Apostle Corps made your biomods. I'm not blaming you, but the technology diverges wildly from piezochem biomods, the only ones approved for sale.
You're investigating this Apostle Corps for patent infringement?
Market disruption. The genius of the Apostle Corps product is that it restructures any host DNA to tolerate biomodification, whereas the standard infusions work for only 1 in 20 patients. Apostle Corps could go commercial and devastate biomod prices.
In other words, you want modified people to hold their value, like real estate.
If you put it that way. We don't want another collapse. What you can do for us is follow up on your discovery at the Minister of Culture's penthouse. Check out the Mako lab north of town. We know they've been doing illegal weapons research, and that your former trainer, Dr. Nassif, has contacts there. You'll need to hire a pilot and leave at once.
You don't have any extra pilots?
The Chicago disaster is occupying every available craft. You shouldn't have any trouble finding a pilot at the Greasel Pit Bar in Lower Seattle. I don't care who flies you in, just get there. Mako is developing a new firearm called the Mag-Rail. In addition to finding Nassif, the WTO needs an agent who can get us the Mag-Rail schematic. I hope that will be you, Alex.
There's a Harrier pilot who owes me a favor. I'll see if he's interested.
The WTO is fighting an invisible war against several formidable enemies. Give us your loyalty, Alex. We need it.
What about the situation in the Inclinator?
Under control. The maintenance crew got right on it.
Please accept the sincere apologies of standard security. Our people should have screened out the terrorists at the lower Seattle entrance.
I'm not blaming you personally.
I'm the one who has to face the music, especially given the Chicago situation.
I have to admit, there's been some talk here of replacing SSC security guards with WTO military. I expect there will be some fallout. Just wanted to let you know that we have the situation in hand.
I took a peek at the club's records.
Yeah? What's that scumbag up to? Give me something I can get a warrant with, and it means a citizen's bonus to you.
Here's the data I uncovered. Looks like the owner has some undeclared sources of income.
I knew it! That man's made a fool out of me for the last time. By tomorrow, he'll be eating rats out of a Queequeg's dumpster. Mark my word. Here's your reward. I have some subpoenas to write.
took care of the zoning.
It's for real then? You came through? My lawyer just called a minute ago. I thought he was kidding.
Now what about the compensation?
Oh, sure. I might end up being the first Queequeg's manager ever to do business inside a WTO enclave. That's worth something. Here you go.
Thanks. Good luck with the new branch.
I can't wait to see what the regional office.
It's not too late. Just because you took one assignment for the WTO doesn't mean that the Order won't accept you. Talk to Lin May. The Order needs your help and has its own interests in the Mako facility.
My alliances are my own concern, but yes, I'm heading to Mako next.
Be careful whom you trust. Only the Order can help you retain your individuality and find spiritual balance. All others are suspect.
Is the WTO really that bad? The enclaves are safe and prosperous. It seems like a solid foundation for the future.
The WTO, Tarsus, or any other corporate entity seeks only to exploit you. As far as Tarsus is concerned, we're experiments, not people. Just walking petri dishes. You know we're worth more than that.
I'll keep all of that in mind.
May Your Holiness watch over you.
You owe this search for true order, not only to yourself, but also to your...
So some of your people have been recruited by the Templars?
Yes, and one of our best captains, too. The Templars appear to be assembling an army of mercenaries, and maybe those stories about Parisian gold are true. They seem to have very deep pockets.
What's the connection to Mako?
Those scientists at Tarsus Academy are part of an obscure group called Apostle Corps. They have a cell at Mako, which would concern the Templars because Mako is their main supplier of weapons.
Maybe that's where Dr. Nassif is hiding out.
Exactly. Your underlying mission will be to locate her. If perfected, the biomod architecture she gave you, being adaptable to any host, could bring biomodification to everyone and unbalance the very concept of the human being. But we have an additional favor to ask.
Go on.
The Templars have commissioned a new grade of firearm from Mako, the mag rail. The Order very much opposes the creation of any new weapons. Your other objective will be to locate the scientist in charge and kill him.
Won't Mako just hand the project to another scientist?
An assassination will send a message and cost the firm money. We want you to hire a pilot in Lower Seattle and get moving as soon as possible.
You can't get me a ride?
The Order is spiritually rich, but that doesn't buy many private jets. I think Sid Black might be waiting for you at Sack's landing pad. He would get the job done. You must strive with your meditations to become a...